This is such a great idea. Younger Americans living with their parents longer to save up for a shot at the American dream of owning a home. But a few things I want to remind people of and why this is a good idea. First of all, if you're going to rent and split an apartment, it's going to be about $1,000. If you live by yourself, it's about $2,000 plus utilities, internet, food. A lot of your parents are probably going to hook you up and not charge you for internet or food if you stay at home. So if you can do that for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, you could save up $40, $50, $60,000 and put that aside as if you were going to pay rent. That is a very wise thing. And here's a practical reason. If you've got a car payment, if you've got credit cards, if you have student loans, imagine taking that $1,000 a month or $2,000 that you're saving by living at home and putting it towards your debt. Because when it comes to home ownership, remember the problem isn't really necessarily the down payment these days. It's the income needed to qualify, because so many Americans have student loan debts that monthly works against you, the car payment which works against you, and the credit cards which works against you. If you go out in the world at 24 years old, debt-free, making $50,000 after college or whatever job you're at, or even $40,000, you're going to be so much further ahead than everybody else who is in debt.
This is something that I did. This is something that I did with my fiance at the time. And it was not a decision that I had planned to make. It was during COVID, and I basically was offered a place to stay with my in-laws, my future in-laws at the time. And I thought to myself, this makes a lot of sense. Though I would not choose to do this willingly, considering everything that's going on, I just felt a lot more comfortable staying with them as opposed to staying with 3 roommates, and ended up being the best decision that I've ever made in my life financially. And a few of the things that I mentioned in this video, my wife and I actually did. We stayed at my in-laws for about 1.5 years, and we ended up saving about $60,000. Along with that, I paid off all of my student loans, and I cannot tell you how great a feeling that was to not have those debts and to have a huge amount of money saved up to be able to purchase a house. And I know what you're thinking, and you're gonna say it was easier to buy a house back then than it is now. And yes, that's true. But you can still apply these principles to today. You may just have to stay for longer than 2 years. You may have to stay for 2, 3, 4 years and save up a lot more money, like maybe $70,000, $80,000. But it's not as hard as you think. It's not, I think a lot of things are uncomfortable for us in life. And ultimately, you have to pick your difficulty, you have to pick your hard, you have to pick what's going to be uncomfortable for you today in order to grow. I have my 9-to-5 job that I work remotely, and I also have a side business that brings in a decent amount of money. I know that if I don't spend a lot of this money and just throw it towards the student loan debt and throw it into savings, we're going to be in a great place in a year. And that's what ended up happening. And this is also me encouraging those that say, well, I don't have enough money coming in, or I don't have a high enough income. Be resourceful. We are living in a time right now where it's so easy to make money online. There's hundreds, literally hundreds of ways to make money online and through side hustles. And I know the common sentiment is you don't want to work more. I don't want to do more than what I have to do, or I'm not passionate about what I want to do. Well, let me offer you this. In those times where it's very difficult in your current job, or where you're doing things, or where you're working a job that you don't necessarily align with, what I did was just pray. You know, I'm a Christian, so I really prayed and asked God to show me what he wanted me to do. And he made it so clear for me after that 1.5 years of, I'm going to make this side business my full-time job. And I'm going to go away from this 9-to-5. And now my side business generates way more money than my 9-to-5 job. It's really just about taking steps of faith and increasing your income and increasing your ability to take advantage of this time that you have if you do move in with your parents, because you cannot be living above your means if you're going to be doing this. You have to be smart, you have to be strategic, and you have to know it's not forever. That's just going to make it so much easier. And just to show you that this is not a one-off instance, here's another that did the same thing.
Here's how I saved $20,000 while living at my parents' house. I'm Marcella, and I'm the founder of The Root Remedy, the first Black female-founded beauty gummy supplement brand. But 4 years ago, I was living at my parents' house. Rule number 1, cut back on your liabilities. I see so many of y'all driving luxury cars, having every designer bag.
Just talking to you, if you have a BMW, Mercedes, anything like that. Audi, talking to you.
And you're over the age of 25, that's a no-no. You cannot be living at your parents' house and living a fake luxury lifestyle. You need to be investing in yourself, whether that be through your education, starting a business, or something that's actually going to promote your growth. Step number 2, look at how much rent is in the area that your parents live in. At the time I was living in the Bay Area, and put all of that money in a savings account.
I'm also Bay Area native, but she just dropped incredible wisdom. Looking at places around you, whether that is a rental property that you would in theory be living at if you were not with your parents, or a home, like a mortgage payment, looking at that, how much it would cost, and then making a mental note to yourself every single month to say, I'm gonna save that away. That is incredible advice, because a lot of times people just don't know how much to save. They don't know how to take advantage of this opportunity that they have living with their parents with very low expenses. And having those numbers in front of you can help you calculate what you should be saving. So that way, when a year has passed or when 2 years has passed, if you put away $2,000 or $3,000 a month, you could have $40,000 to $60,000 saved to put down on a house. All this can be scaled. If you lived with your parents for 3 or 4 years, you could double or triple that amount of money that you have saved and really be in a good position. And if you also do this with a spouse or with a fiance, then you could really increase the amount of money that you guys have saved, which looks to be what's happening in this next video.
I'm married and I have an 8-month-old son, and we as a family are moving in with my dad because we are financially struggling. And let's talk about it, because I think a lot of us are struggling. It is crazy out there. I don't know what is in the water. I just need financial help, and we're thinking like, okay, what do? We want a bigger space. We're already running out of space in this 2-bedroom apartment, but we definitely cannot afford a bigger apartment by ourselves. My dad's lease was ending at his apartment, so we were like, let's move into a house. You can have your whole downstairs living space, bedroom, bathroom. That's where my dad will be. And then we have the bedrooms on the upper level, and we all get to save money and have more space. So let's not be ashamed about moving in with parents, okay?
There's this idea of having shame and almost an inherent sense of failure wanting to move back with your parents. And I totally understand this. This was something that I had thought of before I moved in with my in-laws. But we have to realize times are very tough right now, when incomes are staying stagnant and the cost of everything are increasing. You're going to have to make sacrifices on things that used to be needs, and definitely things that are wants, in order to survive and in order to make sure that you're not going to be drowning and not going into debt for certain things. I personally have experience with this, and as I know many people have experiences with this, and it takes responsibility, personal responsibility, regardless of what's happening in the world around you, to make those decisions that are best for you and your family. And I'm glad to see situations like this, where if you have the opportunity, move in with your parents, so that way all people involved are saving money and ultimately will be in a better place in the long term. And I wanted to add this video for some levity.
Tell you guys right now, just move home. Just moved back home. I'm 29 years old. 29 years old. I just moved from living in the city by myself, Chicago, to the suburbs in my parents' house. And my parents don't have a huge, big, fancy house. We're not rich or anything like that. But to have the opportunity to live at home and not be so stressed out all the time about paying $2,000 a month in rent, it's priceless. It's priceless. Do you guys know how much money I have now? How many things I can do? Okay, I could go get Botox anytime I want.
Don't do that.
I could buy a house in 2 years if I wanted.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about. If you're someone that's considering this, or if you're someone that feels like you're in a position where you have to do this, or let this be the information that hopefully helps you. I did it. It worked for me. It worked for my family. If you're single, I know it will help you. If you're married, it will definitely help you. If you have kids, it'll help you. As long as you have the ability to do it, as long as your family situation will be healthy, as long as boundaries are established with your parents and respected, as long as you set end goals for this type of thing, it's going to benefit you in the future. And really make sure that you have discipline in this time, because you're not going to have a time like this again where your expenses are going to be so low. And also consider this. Consider chipping in to your parents' bills if they're letting you stay at their house, whether it's grocery bills, utilities, maybe even paying some of the mortgage or some of the rent, whatever the case may be. You're going to be spending a lot less. That's the key. That's what you got to remember right now. Take advantage of this time, because I know we have goals And you can reach those goals financially if you just lock in and make sure that you're, being disciplined and taking accountability. Yeah, but thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it transformed your life, honestly, because doing this did transform my life. And I'm sure if you do it and it's the right situation, you'll have the chance to transform your life. If you like this video, please subscribe and comment below if you've had to do this in the past or if you're thinking about doing it. I hope to start a great discussion about this particular trend that's happening. But until next time, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.